Mike Owens here. Today I'm joined by Junior DosSantos, JDS, who returns to action March 2nd, facing Alan Belcher for the inaugural Bareknuckle Heavyweight MMA title. Junior, great to sit down and chat. How are things for you today?
Hey man, how are you? It's good to be talking to you, and everything's going good here.
Good to hear, good to hear. This is obviously your second fight under the Gamebred Bareknuckle banner. How did your first fight live up to expectations?
It was great, actually. I felt very good, and it brought like a feeling of a real fight on the like I mean, real fight. All the fights are real, but I mean, I was able to see on the prelims, the fights before of my fight, that the guys, even the guys, when they were connecting the punches, they were kind of hold the punches afterwards, because then I felt, well, why they're doing that, because the guy felt the punch and they were throwing some hard punches, and I said, oh, they're feeling pain on their hands. So I said, oh, that's very interesting. That's why you could see on my fight, I was moving a lot and throwing like fast punches, but not full power punches, because there's this dangers as well, of you breaking your hand. So it brought me like a feeling that I was everything was more respected, everything was more dangerous. So this first experience for me was I felt very good at, especially with my style of fighting.
Did your hands feel any different after the fight from a normal MMA fight? Did they hurt more? Were they more swollen? What was the impact of not having the gloves compared to a more traditional
Yeah,
fight?
for me, it wasn't a big difference. I didn't really feel anything like hard on my hands because, like I told you, because I noticed that I wasn't throwing like full power punches. I was kind of throwing fast punches. Power punches, but much more less impact. Like using more the speed. That's how I can say. And every touch you do without the gloves, it's a cut.
Mm.
So, so yeah, you don't really need too much power, to really make a big damage on your opponent. And that was something very, very kind of very, very different, that I used to feel during my fights.
Yeah, no, 100%. I wanted to talk about the Fabricio Werdum rematch. This was a fight that we caught up on prior to the fight, but a rematch 15 years in the making, transitioning over from traditional MMA to taking the gloves off and going bare knuckle. What was the whole experience like of rematching Fabricio and obviously getting the win over him in the rematch?
Well, that was great again. Fabricio is a great champion, and we were kind of rivals, all this time. But if you notice, our careers, they were kind of going the same way on opposite sides, maybe, but kind of on the same way, sharing many aspects of the fighting thing. And to be able to fight him, after 15 years that we had our first fight, that was amazing. That time was amazing for me because I was able to really talk to them, and I told them at the end, for the first time, I was able to talk with them, and I was able to tell them, that independent of any situation, any rival or whatever. The truth is, I'm thankful for this fights with him. The first fight and now the second fight, because the first fight was really, really important for me. The world start to recognize me, to really know about me more, because I was able to fight Fabricio Werdum, who was the guy who was supposed to fight for the title at that time. And I was able to go there and win the fight. So that was an amazing victory. And the way the fight, this second fight was, it was great because I told them, now he has a podcast in Brazil. I was just there, doing the podcast with him. Because now you're kind of buddies. Finally, and I'm a guy of positive energy. So, everything what I want to my life is positive. Nothing of negativity, and the only negative thing was that wasn't really resolved was that one. And now, and the way the fight went down, it was it was perfect, because if I had, or me or him, if the fight had done by knockout, we would be celebrating the victory and we wouldn't talk to each other. Same thing with the submission. And the fight to be end by points gave us the opportunity to talk to each other. And I know that I saw that, that moment, and I said, man, I have nothing against. Actually, I admire, this guy, everything what he has done on his career and as a fighter. So I gotta tell them. And then we had the opportunity to finally talk to each other, and that was great, because now everything is kind of settled.
No, that's fantastic to hear. And I did see you on the podcast together. Unfortunately, I don't speak Portuguese, so I was struggling to understand, but great to see nonetheless. I want to talk about your promoter, Jorge Masvidal. The last time I spoke with Jorge before we were previewing your fight against Fabricio, he told me that when he was trying to get you to sign for his promotion for a very long time, he actually at one point cornered you inside the ATT dressing room, in the locker room, and was trying to get you to sign a contract. Is there any truth to this story at all?
Yeah, that's the truth, Jorge. That's an amazing story, actually. Like long time ago at the gym, right after sometime I moved to Florida, and I was training American top team, so then I used to see George over there and things. And one of the days that we were kind of talk to each other, and he told me, like, one day you're gonna fight in my organization, And I said, man, yeah, I said that's a big dream, but that's gonna be my pleasure and things like that, So and look at today, I'm fighting for his organization, the power of words, and good intentions. So Jorge is an amazing guy, He's not just a great fighter, but he really knows how to promote things, how to build things. And I'm very happy that we are part of the same structure. I'm working on his structure right now.
I love that. As I mentioned at the start of this interview, you're facing Belcher March 2nd for the first heavyweight title in Gambred Bareknuckle. Your overall opinion on Belcher as an upcoming opponent, and also his comeback victory against Roy Nelson in December?
Well, against Roy Nelson, he lost. He lost that fight. He won the first round, but he lost the two other rounds. That's it. That's what I saw, and that's what many people saw. But it doesn't matter anymore. Right now I have him as an opponent, for my next fight, and that's what matters for me. And I know he has a lot of he has good experience with the bare knuckle thing, and he's an aggressive fighter, and that makes the things even sweeter for me. I that's the type of challenge I wanted, because I'm really enjoying myself right now, and since my last fight, I told everybody, that fight was the first fight maybe I was fighting only my opponent. I wasn't fighting myself before, because all the other ones, I was kind of struggling and fighting myself before I really fight my opponent. And at this point of my career, 40 years old now, just turned 40 years old. So I think, the more experience we have, the wiser we get, the more intelligent to use our skills to understand ourselves, what really works for us, and I've been I've been very confident on this matter. You know, I'm kind of really understanding myself, and I know what I'm capable of. You know, and I can knock people out. I always did that, and I always said that. But like a few years ago, you know, while I was having that bad moments in my career, I can tell you guys the main thing was I was losing to myself. I wasn't losing to my opponents. I can beat all of them, each and all of them that I was. Unfortunately, I lost the fights to. I know that. You guys should know that too, you know, because that's the truth. I can beat all of them. I was losing to myself because I was always kind of trying to be the good employee, you know, not denying anything and just saying yes and moving forward, not really taking care of myself, taking care of my mental work, you know, and as we should sometimes we got to step back, take our time, rebuild stronger, and then move on. You know, you cannot just push and push and push when things are not working. And that's what I was doing, you know, in my at the end of my career in the UFC and things. So people was watching something that I was struggling. In reality, struggling to myself. Actually, I never told nobody, but for people, you know, close people. But in my last fight in the UFC, when I fought Gunn, I was walking in the cage and I saw he was with his team and laughing, kind of having fun, you know. And I was breathing heavy, and I was, you know, I gotta work this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And, you know, my mind was. The anxiety, everything behind of that was kind of killing me. You know, I said, man, the guy with experience here looks to be him, not me. And then that was something that was kind of I slapped in my face. It was too late already, but I slapped in my face. You know, hey, wake up, man! What kind of well, you're Junior Dos Santos. You know, you have a lot of experience. So you gotta know what to do. Act smart. Don't just try to show up and do whatever they want, other people want. Do what you think is right. So now, after all this time off, you know, and having a better time to make things more clear to my mind, and what kind of path I gotta follow. I feel much more confident, and I'm coming for this fight with Alan Belcher to show this one more time.
No, well, that's fantastic to hear, certainly. The last time that we spoke, we also talked about one of the points of this fight was there would be no USADA testing on the line. It would be your first time in I don't know how many years you wouldn't be USADA tested. As you mentioned there, now 40 years of age, can I ask how much of a benefit it was to be able to maybe use some things that would have been prohibited under the USADA testing pool?
Yeah, it was great, actually. You know, the thing is, when you say something like that, people will think, he was full of drugs or things like that. No way. You guys maybe who follow my career knows me, you know, and I've been taking care of my career, of my body, of my mental. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I take care of myself. You know, I know who I am as a person. I know my values as a person. And of course, the USADA thing was something very heavy, because when they caught me with like diuretic, something to lose weight or something, but something very cheap, that wouldn't even work. And they took me off of fighting for 1 year. I said, man, you know, that's all the professionals I talked with, and they said, man, they should know, you know, this is not something that would hide anything or would do anything or benefit to you, and it's something. It was traits of diuretic. So I said, and they took me out for 1 year. After that, I kind of lose my faith on the USADA thing, you know, that I thought was something important. And it wasn't, you know, it was kind of bad, you know, but like today, I can go and take my supplements, my pre-workouts, my everything, what I need to do, you know, to feel better, to feel good. I'm doing it, you know, and to have this ability to take care of myself, of my body better, even with 40 years old now, you know, it's an amazing part of the thing, you know, and I that's why I really know I can deliver like great shows.
No, 100%. I want to get your thoughts on one of the biggest heavyweight fights that has happened since we last spoke, and that was, of course, Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou back in October. I think if I remember the last time we spoke, I got your thoughts on that fight. Obviously, Francis causing the upset despite not getting the victory on the night. So, your reaction to that fight, and also if you have any insights as to why Francis was able to be so successful.
Yeah, Francis. Well, he really believes in himself, you know, and he knows the kind of power he has, you know, and how strong he is. And yeah, again, you know, that was a professional boxing fight, not an amateur boxing fight, not a Olympic boxing fight where every touch counts a point. That's not like that. You know, that was a professional boxing fight where you gotta be aggressive, where you gotta dominate the ring, where you gotta look for the knockout all the time. You gotta show the work, you know. And on that aspect, Francis Ngannou was much better in my humble opinion, of course. You know, people say, you don't really understand. You're not from boxing. Come on. You're finding excuses. That's the truth. If it was amateur boxing, then it's okay. Tyson Fury touched him much more than he touched Tyson Fury. But every time he touched Tyson Fury was causing a lot of damage. And Tyson Fury was just like doing some like affection on him, you know. It doesn't, I don't know if that's the word, but but yeah, he was touching lightly, you know, on Francis Ngannou. So that was an amazing fight. It was an amazing moment for the sport, you know, and to everything what Saudi Arabia is doing for the fighting world now, you know, it's amazing. You know, the guys are really there for us, and I hope soon I can have my fight there, you know, my boxing fight, because my opinion, my intention was always to have my boxing fight, you know, but till this day, you know, we never really was able to close the deal because the big guys were kind of pushing back. They don't really were interested in the fights, and the guys who were like okay to fight me, then the promoters don't want to promote something like that. You know, boxing is a little more, I don't know, a little more complicated, but I think, you know, soon we're gonna have this opportunity and make some things happening. Like, let's kick this boxers butts.
I did want to ask about that because I did see you were invited out onto the Legends kind of get together, meeting out in Saudi Arabia prior to the fight, prior to the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight. You've mentioned then that would obviously be something that you would be interested in. What type of opponent do you think in an ideal world would square off in terms of the boxing ring? Who do you think would be prepared to square off against a Junior Dos Santos?
Anyone, man. I'm when you talk about boxing in MMA, you cannot not mention my name. You know, I'm the guy who has been using the boxing as a main thing in my whole career. You know, and that's the area that I feel comfortable. I feel good. You know, I'm not saying it's easy or whatever. You know, it's very hard actually. But it's something that I really believe. I'm really confident of, you know. So as soon as I have the opportunity I'm looking for, you know, you guys will see it, what I'm talking about. Because till right now, you know, if you see like everything what Francis Ngannou was capable to do, imagine that in a faster speed. You know, it's gonna be Junior Dos Santos, man. So wait for that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Junior. I've got one more question for you. What I would like to know is what happens in a perfect world on March the 2nd? What happens when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night on fight day?
Well, that I feel good, that I feel confident, and that I cannot allow those ghosts, that sometimes we have in our heads, our head, to come interfere on my performance. That's my biggest goal, and that's what I was telling you that I really understand about myself. As soon as it can keep the ghosts away from me, and I can focus on what I have to do, it's all fine. It's all beautiful, because then I don't need anything else. I'm not there to be something what I'm not. I'm a great fighter. That's the reality. And as soon as I don't have those ghosts, inside of my head trying to pull me down, man, it's gonna be so hard for these guys to hold me, to have to succeed on top of me. I'll have some good times over there. And there's no other heavyweight that can be as fast as I am. They can be as fast as I am, but not faster than me, and I move well, and I throw some hard punches, man. Talking about the boxing things, but I'm ready for everything. It's MMA as well. This is a fight that maybe, I'll say the same thing. As soon as Alan Belcher starts to feel this hands connecting against his face, he's going to change his strategy right away. He's going to try to take me down. He's going to try to kick. He's going to try to grapple. He's going to do whatever to avoid these punches, and that's going to be his biggest mistake, because then I'll submit him.
I love it. Junior, it's always great chatting with you. Even better to see you back in action. Have a great rest of fight camp and look forward to seeing you back soon.
Thank you, sir. Take care.